In this podcast episode, Dr. Emily Leeming, a dietitian and nutrition researcher, delves into the widespread issue of insufficient fiber intake among the population and its serious implications for health and longevity. She discusses the multifaceted roles fiber plays beyond digestion, including its impact on heart health, blood sugar control, the gut microbiome, inflammation, cancer risk, mental well-being, and healthy aging. The conversation explores how evolving scientific understanding, especially around the gut microbiome, has elevated fiber's importance. Practical dietary guidance, strategies for increasing fiber intake, and considerations for individuals with specific health conditions are also covered. Dr. Leeming explains that fiber, often underestimated and seen as merely a digestive aid, actually has a broad-reaching impact on overall health. It is one of the most researched nutrients linked with reducing risks of chronic diseases such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers. Fiber consumption supports various physiological processes by helping to lower bad cholesterol, improve blood sugar regulation, and nurture the gut microbiome, the trillions of microorganisms living in our digestive tract, essential for creating health-promoting molecules. A significant evolution in nutritional science over the past 2 decades focuses on the gut microbiome and fiber's critical role as its primary fuel. Unlike proteins, fats, and simple carbohydrates that our small intestine absorbs, fiber resists digestion by human enzymes and reaches the lower intestine intact, where it feeds beneficial gut microbes. These microbes ferment fiber to produce short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, which serve as energy sources for gut cells, reinforce the gut barrier, and travel throughout the body to exert systemic benefits. For example, SCFAs support the blood-brain barrier, helping regulate what passes into the brain, and have anti-inflammatory and immune-modulating effects, demonstrating how fiber's influence extends well beyond digestion. Despite its importance, only about 4% of people meet the recommended daily fiber intake of 30 grams. Dr. Leeming attributes this partly to the nutritional focus on other macronutrients like protein, which for years dominated dietary messaging, sometimes overshadowing fiber. She emphasizes that fiber-rich foods often contain some protein as well, so increasing fiber typically does not reduce protein intake. Common barriers also include misconceptions about fiber being dull or difficult to include in the diet. Metabolic dysfunction affects a large segment of the population and is closely linked to chronic diseases such as heart disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, and certain cancers. Dr. Leeming highlights robust evidence showing that increasing fiber intake is associated with significant reductions in risks of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and colorectal cancer. Even modest increases of around 7 grams daily can lead to meaningful improvements in blood sugar control, measured by markers like HbA1c. This supports the notion that augmenting fiber consumption could be a key lever in improving population metabolic health. Dr. Leeming advocates for simple, manageable changes to elevate fiber intake, such as adding nuts, seeds, beans, and whole grains to meals. She introduced a 4-32 method for meal composition: 1/4 of the plate as whole grains, 1/3 including beans, and a portion of nuts and seeds, which combined can supply approximately 10 grams of fiber per meal. She also stresses the importance of gradually increasing fiber intake over several weeks to allow gut microbes to adjust and to minimize discomfort such as gas or bloating, which tends to diminish as the microbiome adapts. Addressing common concerns about fiber-related gas and bloating, Dr. Leeming explains that initial increases in fiber can elevate gas production due to microbial fermentation, but this response usually stabilizes with time. She encourages patience and suggests accompanying lifestyle habits such as adequate hydration, regular physical activity, and stress management, all of which support digestive health and microbial balance. She also points out that stinky gas often arises from sulfur-containing amino acids, more abundant in meat than in fiber-rich plant foods. For individuals following low-carbohydrate diets or managing conditions like type 2 diabetes or irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, Dr. Leeming underscores the need for tailored approaches to fiber. She highlights that fiber is not an all-or-nothing nutrient. Various types of fiber exist, some fermentable and others not, allowing flexibility in dietary choices. She stresses the importance of personalized advice from clinicians or dietitians, especially for those on restrictive diets or with gut-related health issues, to safely and gradually reintroduce fiber-rich foods and optimize gut health. The discussion compares the benefits of fiber-rich foods and fermented foods, such as kimchi and sauerkraut. While a recent short-term study showed fermented foods more effectively and rapidly reduced inflammation markers, Dr. Leeming points out that fiber's benefits accumulate over longer periods, and it plays a foundational role in maintaining a healthy gut microbiome and immune system. She supports including both fermented foods and fiber-rich plants in diets as complementary strategies, noting that many fermented vegetables contain fiber alongside beneficial microbes. Dr. Leeming highlights alarming trends in rising colorectal cancer rates among younger individuals and discusses ongoing research efforts, including the large-scale Eat Fiber study aimed at understanding how fiber intake affects markers of cancer risk. Epidemiological data show that every 10-gram increase in daily fiber correlates with a 10% reduction in bowel cancer risk. Key mechanisms include fiber's role in increasing stool bulk and decreasing transit time, reducing prolonged contact between potentially harmful substances and the gut lining. Fiber contributes to satiety by adding bulk and stretching the stomach, which sends fullness signals to the brain, and by supporting gut microbes that influence satiety hormones. This helps curb hunger and reduce cravings, facilitating healthier energy intake without requiring calorie counting. Dr. Leeming contrasts this with restrictive dieting approaches that can provoke excessive hunger and overeating. She advocates for abundant, fiber-rich meals that nourish and satisfy, offering a more sustainable and enjoyable path to weight management. Longitudinal studies reveal that higher fiber diets correlate with better physical mobility, cognitive function, and overall quality of life in older adults. While fiber often acts as a marker of an overall healthy diet, its influence on cardiovascular risk factors and systemic inflammation supports brain and body health. Emerging studies on prebiotic fibers, which selectively feed beneficial gut bacteria, show promise for improving aspects of memory and cognition, suggesting fiber's potential role in guarding against age-related cognitive decline. Research into fiber's impact on mood and emotional health is still evolving, but dietary patterns rich in fiber, such as the Mediterranean diet, have demonstrated benefits for depression and emotional regulation. Fiber feeds the gut microbiome, which communicates bidirectionally with the brain through the gut-brain axis. Early clinical trials with prebiotic supplements show improvements in cognitive testing and subtle mood-related changes, indicating that dietary fiber could support mental well-being through complex gut-derived mechanisms. Prebiotics are a subset of fermentable fibers that specifically promote the growth of beneficial bacteria linked to health benefits. Dr. Leeming clarifies that not all fermentable fibers qualify as prebiotics. The latter have more targeted effects. Common prebiotic fibers include inulin and galacto-oligosaccharides found naturally in everyday foods like garlic, onions, leeks, and asparagus. These affordable, accessible foods can be easily incorporated into meals to nurture the microbiome without requiring expensive supplements. To better empower people aiming to increase fiber, Dr. Leeming offers the mnemonic BGBGS, representing berries, greens, beans, grains, and seeds, key fiber-rich food categories to include regularly. She highlights the variability of fiber content even among fruits like bananas, where resistant starch levels decline as bananas ripen, subtly influencing fiber intake. Recipes blending fiber into familiar dishes, e.g., blending beans into tomato sauce or creamy mac and cheese, further illustrate practical ways to boost fiber without major dietary overhaul. Fiber, particularly soluble types, helps moderate blood sugar spikes by slowing digestion and absorption of carbohydrates. Foods like berries contain natural sugars, but the fiber matrix slows glucose release into the bloodstream, promoting sustained energy and better glycemic control. Dr. Leeming encourages integrating fiber into carbohydrate-focused discussions, positioning fiber as a crucial component in managing blood sugar for both healthy individuals and people with diabetes. Dr. Leeming recommends a structured approach to increasing fiber, such as a 4-week gradual plan focusing meal by meal on adding fiber sources. She emphasizes individual differences in tolerance and the importance of tracking personal responses related to digestion, energy levels, mood, and sleep. This personalized self-science helps people make mindful, sustainable changes aligned with how their bodies and gut microbes adapt over time. Menopause can alter the gut microbiome due to hormonal changes, potentially affecting digestion and overall well-being. Dr. Leeming acknowledges the paucity of research on menopausal gut health, but suggests that adopting higher fiber, plant-rich diets may alleviate some symptoms. She also discusses gut health testing, advising that simple, everyday observations, like stool quality, are effective indicators of gut status for most people, and warns against spending on commercial microbiome tests that often lack actionable insights. Sudden intolerances to foods like garlic, onions, or gluten may result from conditions such as IBS, which can be triggered by gut infections or microbiome imbalances. These intolerances are often related to FODMAPs, fermentable carbohydrates that feed gut bacteria but can cause symptoms when the gut is sensitive or dysregulated. Addressing these issues typically involves dietary modifications under professional supervision rather than complete avoidance of fiber-rich plants. Many commercially available fermented products are pasteurized to prolong shelf life, which reduces live probiotic bacteria content. Homemade fermented foods tend to have richer microbial diversity but require time and effort. Nonetheless, even pasteurized ferments provide some health benefits and can be part of an overall strategy to support gut and immune health, alongside a fiber-rich diet. Beyond the book, Dr. Leeming maintains an active Substack newsletter where she breaks down the latest nutrition and microbiome research in accessible ways, including practical advice on diverse topics such as early childcare and medication impacts on gut health. This ongoing engagement supports individuals seeking to deepen their understanding and make informed lifestyle decisions. Ending with an encouraging message, Dr. Leeming invites listeners to join the fiber family, embracing a flexible, enjoyable approach to increasing dietary fiber. She emphasizes that perfection is not required. Instead, small, consistent, and personalized changes can lead to better energy, well-being, and long-term health. This accessible mindset frames fiber not just as a nutrient, but as a cornerstone of a healthful lifestyle.